So the first injury that I remember vividly was when I was around 30.
So yeah, pretty much right away it was pretty clear that, shoulder was toasted, the ribs were broken, and the thumb was broken.
My hip was throbbing all the time, and it was manifesting itself all the way down into the knee. When I didn't run and I had that adjustment, I could go 3 or 4 weeks where it didn't bother me at all. But eventually it wore down, and I just didn't want to try running again. It was shortly after that I started coaching.
So I think in my 20s I was kind of floundering, trying to figure out what life was all about. And I had a friend who sort of took me under her wing and said triathlons were just starting. And I started doing some running with her, and running races were just getting started. So that was like the early 80s. I started doing shorter distance triathlons, sprints, and Olympic. And why I really liked triathlons is I felt responsible myself for my success or not, that I wasn't relying on a team, but it was about me doing the work and getting the job done. I tore the hamstring in my right leg, and it was doing the split. I was not anything athletic short of I was at dancing. And I was hospitalized for a week on crutches for 6 months, and the orthopedic surgeon said, "You'll never run again." And the bottom line is, he should have said, "You'll never run fast again." If you want to be a sprinter or be fast, and when you're missing one major hamstring in a leg, it just doesn't work. So I had to sort of, as I was getting started in triathlons, readjust my thought process about running. And still, my sort of bottom line I tell myself is, don't get greedy. If I can do an 8-minute mile, don't try to do a 7:30, because the second I start to do speed work or go to the track, I get hamstring tendonitis, and I've had that experience. So the hamstring has plagued me and continues to be a challenge.
I mean, I probably started biking first before anything else. I was super into like little BMX bikes as a kid and building trails in the woods with my friends. So biking was pretty much really the first sport I got into at a really young age, like 4 or 5 years old. I mountain bike a lot and mountain bike pretty aggressively, in all sorts of terrain, but I don't really often go to bike parks. Usually I'm kind of in the backwoods touring around. So this particular day I took one of my sons down to Killington to go to the bike park. It was kind of the end of the season. We had some lift tickets to use, and it was sort of the first run with sort of legitimate jumps and more technical features, and just unfortunately miscalculated my speed and was going a little bit too fast. So I tried to I tried to slow down kind of mid-transition, and ended up getting basically thrown off the feature, and I Right away I knew I had done something awful to my shoulder because it was disfigured and I could feel things poking and sticking out. So that was pretty evident. It was also pretty evident right away that I broke some ribs because I was having a really hard time breathing. And I've broken ribs before, so I knew kind of how miserable that felt. What I didn't realize was that my thumb was broken. Initially, I just thought I had sort of slightly sprained it or dislocated it, but every time I went to pick up my bike to get it out of the trail, my thumb would sort of flop off to the side, and I realized, oh, this is like worse than... So that was actually a nice distraction from all of this.
My freshman year in high school, I was 5'2.5" and weighed 110 pounds, and wasn't going to be big enough to make the football team. I liked all sports, but one of my kids in PE said, "Why don't you come out for the cross-country team? You can be on the freshman team. We're doing a race today." I go, "I can be on the team already?" Junior college for 2 years, transferred to a 4-year school, mainly concentrating on the 800 and track. Made it to the Nationals my senior year of college in the 800. Post-collegiately, that's when I started running the high miles, the 60, 70, up to 100 miles a week. And that kind of wore my body out. About 3 years post-college, started having a little bit of hip issues. Thought maybe it was just a downhill run that I was doing at one point. And then it resurfaced again about 6 years later when I was coaching at the junior college level, until finally my hip gave out on me and they said it was degenerative, so I quit running at that point in 1999. So it's been 22 years since I really competed the last.
As someone who's had a bundle of injuries and I'm still going strong, I'm 67 years old, I wouldn't say to go against what someone tells you, but recognize that our bodies are incredibly resilient.
Be wise to heed is just be patient and don't rush it, take your time.
I was trying to be the best road racer in the area, and you know, I won races and things, but it wasn't worth the long-term effects. Sure that you get the care, especially at an early age, for your body to be able to handle the stress as opposed to getting injured all the time.
So I think it's a combination of things that allow athletes to get back out there, and the more important one is to don't give up on yourself. And if you want something bad enough, you can have it. You just have to work for it.